Welcome to CPAC 2018. I'm Rob Louie, Editor-in-Chief of the Daily Signal.
I'm Jenny Maltabano, a contributor with the Daily Signal.
And we're now joined by David Bozell, President of ForAmerica.
How you doing, buddy?
Good to see you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So, President Trump, obviously the highlight of CPAC 2018, delivered a long but very motivational, motivational, uplifting speech to this crowd. What's your take?
Well, he went off a little off script. I think that's what made it a little lengthy. But he seems, we were talking off air, he seems genuinely at ease, a lot more at ease. He seems to genuinely like being here and a lot more at ease that even some of our conservative heroes in the legislature across the river, sometimes they just don't give the most comfortable looking presentation. But the president just jovial, funny, witty. He's going to get hammered by the press because he went off script this way, that way, and the other way. And people here are genuinely appreciative of that. It's natural. It's what made him a reality TV star. He understands the power of the presentation, the natural presentation. On the policy, the fact that he got a standing ovation for a call for stricter background checks, that'll be a newsmaker coming out of CPAC. But I don't think lots of people here are going to agree with that. And so long as everyone's abiding by the law, so long as Second Amendment rights are protected, I don't think anybody here is going to have a problem with expanding background checks to include those who might be, have mental issues. So the humor, the call for stricter background checks, I think are going to be highlights. And I think he also provided a clarity of purpose for the conservative movement, talking about how tax cuts and you would lose your tax cuts if Democrats were to win, and you're going to lose your Second Amendment if Democrats were going to win. Clarity of purpose, by that I mean, if Democrats win the House, this man's going to get impeached. I mean, that's it. And his agenda is essentially finished. And so it's a rallying cry for the conservative movement. I understand we've all had our disagreements with the leadership and the sluggish pace of Congress, but I think we've got to swallow that and assume the call from the president that we've got to elect Republicans and keep Republicans in the House to protect his agenda.
I agree with you that it was a rallying cry. You could tell he really wants to keep up the energy, and I thought he did a really good job of expressing that to the crowd here. So we've heard from President Trump, Vice President Pence. What do you think about the mood at CPAC this year?
I think if you walk around the crowd, he has to letter grade the president's performance since he's been inaugurated. Lots of A's, A-, B+, very strong approval. If you ask them to letter grade Congress, lots of F's, lots of D's, right? And that's I think reflective in people's frustration that he's been really terrific with what he's been able to put out there from the Oval Office. What's within his control within the Oval Office, through the executive orders, through his measures to deregulate the government and private enterprise. Huge high marks for him on that. But Congress continues its sluggish pace to advance its core promises. Mitch McConnell on Sunday in the New York Times quoted saying, "We're going to lose the House and we're probably going to lose the Senate." It is, and then you juxtapose. The leadership in Congress couldn't sell a bucket of water to a man on fire sometimes. But Trump seems to be one of the few salesmen within the cause. So where I think CPAC is coming together is it's going to be incumbent upon the movement, us, to help him make that sale to the rest of the country. Because in a lot of ways, he's the only one that within the Republican apparatus that knows how to do it well.
Yeah, well, it certainly seems to be the case. I mean, he did acknowledge in his speech that since 2011, that's where it kind of all began for him and CPAC. So I think you're right about him being at ease and him being that salesman who really does know how to connect with this crowd. Now, one of the things that you do at ForAmerica is really try to mobilize the grassroots. What are some of the big initiatives that you have going on?
Well, just this week, we've had a lot of success. I know Dana got a lot of grief for her comment yesterday, Dana Lash got a lot of grief for her comment yesterday, suggesting that the liberal media wanted to see white women cry more on television. Not 4 days prior, Netflix released a special with Chris Rock in which he says he wanted racial equality, he wanted more white kids to die, and he wanted more white mothers crying on television. He's part of the legacy media, or put it another way, the liberal media. No one condemned him for that comment. No one. So Dana was vindicated. We put Chris Rock's clip out there, reached 15 million people. We're up to 10 million views on that clip alone. So our attitude at For America is, and I know Facebook gets a lot of grief, and there's a perception out there that it's full of Russians and all this other silliness. Our audience is 98% American. Okay, and that's a fact. Our attitude at For America is, if conservatives do not play on social media, if we don't spread the gospel of conservatism on social media, we might as well take our ball and go home. I mean, these are the dominant communication platforms in the world. So to the extent that we're partnering up with Heritage and Daily Signal, broadcasting the great work that you guys are doing, broadcasting the other great work that's occurring here at CPAC, just helping to spread the message of conservatism. That's going to be one of our core focuses in 2018. And then, like I said earlier, the elections are going to be the whole kit and caboodle. So we've got a number of endorsements that we're planning, still talking to a number of different candidates, but there's going to be about 12, 13, maybe 14 different House races that it's going to be up to the conservative movement, including those of us at For America and Heritage Action, those types of places that are going to make the difference between whether or not the Republicans retain control. So that's going to be exciting.
Well, and on your note about Facebook, I think one of the important things that we can remind all of our viewers is to share this video. Because through your actions and engagement on our content at Heritage, the Daily Signal, and at For America, that really, I think Facebook looks to in order to determine what you're seeing in the newsfeed.
Well, one of the things that we're trying to tap into at For America is peer-to-peer endorsement. So it's not so much that what I might say, or everyone knows my father, Brent, or what another talking head might say. At the end of the day, you're going to trust your friends, you're going to trust your family more than anybody. So it's incumbent upon everybody at the grassroots level. Don't be shy about sharing your views to your friends and your family. I know it can be, it could be like Thanksgiving dinner, in a digital sense. But at the end of the day, they're going to trust you a lot more than they're going to trust even Fox or something else. We're a news entity. There's so much distrust for news today. There's so much distrust for our politicians. We're going to have to rely on each other to spread our beliefs to one another's networks. And believe me when I tell you, marketing 101, people are going to believe their friends. They're going to believe you, the audience, a lot more than they're going to believe knuckleheads like me, right? So it's really, I implore everybody out there in the digital space, don't be shy about clicking the like button, clicking the share button, because it's your friends and your family. They're going to rely on you.
Well, David, that's a great note to end on. Appreciate you being with us here.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll be back.
These guys are great.
We'll be back with more interviews. Thanks to David Bozell of For America. Stay tuned for more. Thank you, everyone.